Here in this video we will showcase 15 fastest Starfleet ships from Star Trek that have crossed the Warp 9 factor, which means these are at least a magnitude over the slower earlier designs. We will speak in brief about each ship so as to introduce you to the vessels, and then assess their speed in warp factor, in distance it can cover in a single day, and how long it takes for the ship leaving Earth to reach Alpha Centauri, one of the nearest stars 4.3 light years away. So let's get to it. At 15 we have the USS Fearless, an Excelsior class. This was a class of starship utilized by Starfleet from the late 23rd century to the late 24th century. Renowned for its longevity, the Excelsior class served as the backbone of Starfleet for over a century, making it one of the fleet's most iconic vessels. One notable ship of its class, the Fearless, received an experimental warp drive upgrade in the year 2364, resulting in a measurable increase in performance and engine efficiency as reported by the engineering staff. The maximum speed was warp 9, which translates to 1516 times the speed of light, which means 4.1 light years a day. It takes 25 hours and 12 minutes to reach the nearest star. Number 14, the USS Vengeance, a Dreadnought class. The Dreadnought class was an experimental warship class designed by Starfleet with assistance from Khan Noonien Singh. It was represented by the sole ship of its class, the USS Vengeance. The Vengeance was built explicitly for combat, being larger, faster, and armed more than a standard Starfleet ship. According to Khan, the Vengeance was twice the size and 3 times faster than other vessels. Featuring an advanced warp drive suited for its role as a battlecruiser, it was able to catch up with the Constitution class mid-warp, a class which had a standard speed of warp 8. Its maximum speed was around warp 9.1, which means 1575 times light speed, or 4.3 light years in a day, which means it takes 24 hours or 1 exact day to reach the nearest star. Number 13, the USS Enterprise B, an Excelsior class. The USS Enterprise B, a 23rd Century Federation Excelsior class ship, was the third ship to bear the same name. Commissioned in the year 2293, the Enterprise B incorporated a piece of its predecessor, the Enterprise A, during its construction. It had a standard safe cruising speed of warp 7 and an emergency maximum speed of warp 9.5. But this was just theorized. Its maximum speed was actually 9.2, warp 9.2, outperforming other ships of the same class such as the Fearless. So with the warp 9.2, that means 1640 times light speed, which means 4.5 light years in a day, and this means it reaches the nearest star in 22 hours and 54 minutes. Number 12, the USS Ajax, an Apollo class. The USS Ajax was a 24th Century Federation Apollo-class starship operated by Starfleet. In the year 2364, the Ajax was among the ships to receive the Kosinski Experimental Warp Drive upgrade. The engineering staff noted a measurable increase in performance and engine efficiency following the upgrade. It was later suggested that these improvements might have resulted from rectifying simple engine efficiencies in the older ship designs. Its maximum speed was warp 9.6, or 2017 times light speed, which means 5.5 light years in a day, and it takes 18 hours and 48 minutes for it to reach Alpha Centauri. Number 11, the USS Excelsior, another Excelsior class. The USS Excelsior, a Federation Excelsior class starship, was in operation from the year 2285 to the year 2320. As a prototype of its class, the Excelsior gained fame under the command of Captain Sulu. Known as the Great Experiment, the Excelsior was conceived in the early 2280s as the first Starfleet vessel equipped with a trans-warp drive designed to replace the aging fleet of Constitution II class vessels. Its fastest speed was warp 9.6, which is also 2017 the speed of light, or 5.5 light years a day, and 18 hours and 48 minutes to reach the nearest star. Number 10, the USS Enterprise D, a Galaxy class. So the Galaxy class was a heavily armed capital ship and was introduced by Starfleet in the mid-2360s. One of the largest and most powerful Federation starships classes of its kind and era, many Galaxy-class ships played significant roles in the Dominion War. While capable of reaching warp speeds of above 9.3, normally, these speeds were beyond the red line, with a maximum warp speed of 9.6 that could be sustained for a few hours. The Galaxy class featured 42 decks and could transport over 6,000 troops. So the maximum speed ever recorded was warp 9.8, which is 2450 times light speed, or 6.7 light years in a day, which means it takes it 15 hours and 12 minutes to reach Alpha Centauri. Number 9, the USS Enterprise Constitution class. So the Constitution class was a Federation starship class and a heavy cruiser utilized as the premier frontline Starfleet vessel during the mid-23rd century. These ships were designed for long-duration exploration and patrol missions, emphasizing galactic exploration and diplomacy. The highest recorded warp speed for this class was 14.1, warp 14.1, which is translated to warp 9.8 plus in the next generation standards. So warp 9.8 plus, which means 2800 plus times light speed, or 7.7 light years in a day, and it takes it 13 hours and 24 minutes to reach the nearest star. Number 8. The USS Enterprise F, an Odyssey class. The USS Enterprise F, an Odyssey class Federation starship, was operated by Starfleet in the 25th century. It was the 7th vessel to bear the name Enterprise. The Odyssey class was in service by the year 2401, with at least 12 ships completed. The USS Enterprise F was one of these ships and was scheduled for early decommissioning in the same year. This ship could achieve a warp speed of 9.9, which is 3029 times light speed, or 8.3 light years in a single day, and it takes it 12 hours and 27 minutes to reach Alpha Centauri. Number 7. The USS Bon Kun, a Nebula class. The Nebula class was a Starfleet-type vessel that saw service in the second half of the 24th century. This class participated in several major engagements against the Borg, including in the Battle of Wolf 359 and the Battle of Sector 001. Sharing design elements with the larger Galaxy class, the Nebula class featured similar primary and secondary hulls and warp nacelles. The USS Bon Kun, or NCC 70915, was notable for its assignment in the year 2374 to pursue the prototype vessel called USS Prometheus after it was taken over by the Romulan agents. It had a maximum speed of warp 9.9, which means 3029 times light speed, or 8.3 light years in a day, and 12 hours and 27 minutes to the nearest star. Number 6. The USS Voyager, an Intrepid class. The Intrepid class starship was a Federation design that entered service in the latter half of the 24th century. Designed for long-term exploration missions, the Intrepid class was less than half the size of a Galaxy-class starship and considered quick and smart. Its new warp drive was designed to operate for up to 3 years before requiring any refueling, allowing the ship to have a top sustainable cruise velocity of warp factor 9.975, which translates to 5,116 times the speed of light, or 14 light years in a single day, and 7 hours and 24 minutes to the Alpha Centauri star. Number 5. The USS Defiant, a Defiant class. The Defiant class battleships, officially classified as an escort vessel, began development in the year 2366 as small, highly powered, heavily armed warships intended to defend the Federation planets against the Borg. The USS Defiant, NX 74205, was the prototype of this new Federation battle fleet. While ships of the class were designed to have a transwarp speed of 9.5, the USS Defiant set a record with a speed of 9.982. So warp 9.982 translates to 5,940 times light speed, or 16.3 light years in a single day, and 6 hours and 20 minutes for it to reach Alpha Centauri. Number 4. The USS Prometheus, a Prometheus class. The Prometheus class was a highly classified Federation starship designed for deep space tactical assignments. One of the most advanced Starfleet vessels in operation during the latter half of the 24th century and continuing into the 25th century, the Prometheus class featured a warp drive that made these ships faster than any other in the fleet at that time, particularly in the mid-2370s. The warp drive could maintain speeds exceeding warp 9.9, with a maximum of 9.99. So warp 0.99 is 7,912 times light speed, or 21.7 light years in a day, and so it will take the USS Prometheus only 4 hours and 45 minutes to reach Alpha Centauri. That is like traveling on a plane from Boston in the northeast to Dallas in Texas. Number 3. The USS Enterprise E, a Sovereign class. The Sovereign class starship, introduced in the late 24th century, showcased some of Starfleet's most recent technological advances. Although not as large as the Galaxy-class starships, the Sovereign class was the longest and most advanced design in the fleet at that time. The USS Enterprise E, the sixth starship to bear the name Enterprise, was the flagship of this class. While other Sovereign-class ships were designed to reach Warp 8, the Enterprise E broke all records by achieving a speed of 9.995. So this speed translates to 11,516 times light speed, or 31.6 light years in a day, and 3 hours and 16 minutes to the nearest star. That is an average flight duration from New York to Dallas in Texas. or from London in the UK to Athens in Greece. Number 2. The USS Zhenghe Inquiry Class. The USS Zhenghe was an Inquiry Class Federation starship operated by Starfleet in the late 24th and early 25th centuries. Like many other Inquiry Class starships, the Zhenghe underwent a substantial retrofit sometime between the defense of Coppelius and the appearance of the anomaly in the year 2401. And as of 2399, the Inquiry Class ships were the fastest and most tactically capable in the Federation fleet. The Inquiry Class featured an advanced warp drive capable of speeds exceeding warp 9.9985, which means more than 24,300 times the speed of light, or 66.6 light years in a day, and 1 hour and 33 minutes to the nearest star. So that's like a flight from London to Paris in France. And number 1. Funny enough, it's the Cochrane Class 2 shuttle. So yeah, wait for it, wait for my explanation. The Class 2 shuttle, also known as the Type 9 shuttlecraft, was a short-range auxiliary space vessel utilized by Starfleet as a transport craft from starships. Initially, the Class 2 shuttle had a top speed of warp 4. However, following the discovery of a new form of dilithium, its top speed was upgraded to warp 9.7. But in the episode Threshold, a specially outfitted warp-capable shuttlecraft piloted by Tom Paris successfully reached warp 10, breaking the trans-warp barrier and achieving near-infinite speed. This is termed as warp N, meaning near-infinite speed being anywhere at once, which means it can reach anywhere instantaneously, be it the nearest star or the farthest star. So those are the 15 fastest Starfleet ships over warp 9 speed. So if you like this video, then watch this other one as well. And if you want to browse for other sci-fi content and Warhammer, then do check out our channel. Subscribe, like for support, and ring that bell icon for notifications on new video uploads. Ring it. Till the next time, take care, boys.